Yes.
You just mentioned like, yeah, you have your 3-year plan and stuff, if nothing goes accordingly. So what's your perspective on that? You know, how do you like approach the future, make a plan or whatever? What's your approach?
Yes, beautiful. So for those who didn't hear the question, my approach to when you hear 1-year plan, 3-year plan, 5-year plan, planning in general, the most important thing is we need a starting point. So it's okay to make a plan, but how attached are you to your plan? We tend to see an outcome, and then we set this direct line, the straightest path from here to there. That becomes our expectation and the steps we need to take, and everything else that happens differently we get upset by. So we just finished a 5-day writer's retreat. It's the same thing. If you sit there thinking about what you're going to write and expect that you have to know what you're going to write ahead of writing it, you're completely missing the co-creative process. You have to let life happen. So it's okay to have a plan. Think of it more as a starting point and spend as little time as possible planning and sitting there and ruminating. Western psychology has done an incredible amount of research on this piece, by the way, rumination. We spend up to 2/3 of our day lost in thought, thinking about things that have no relevance to what we're doing, planning our future, planning all these steps that we need to have happen. That's 2/3 of our life. Absent-minded, lost in thought, gone, not present, not engaged with the only thing that's real. That's 60 years out of the average life that you're not really here. Similar questions are, when I'm visualizing my presentation tomorrow, at one point am I controlling or projecting? How do I know the difference? Well, how does it feel? When you're visualizing and you're feeling good, you're feeling light, you're confident about your research and the data and your everything that you've prepared, that feels good. Suddenly thoughts about, oh, what if this happens, if that happens, and this breaks, and I'm not prepared for that answer, how does that feel? Well, it feels small and constricted and fearful. So notice as you're planning, where there's joy, where there's expansiveness, where there's curiosity, where there's creativity, where you're in receiving mode, all that feels fantastic. And then notice when you start to get in there, it has to happen by this date and it has to happen this way. And if that doesn't happen and some fearful thoughts start to come in, you'll very quickly notice, once we start to become more and more and more aware of our sensations, our feelings, just where the boundary is of healthy planning, healthy visualization, which also spills into manifestation. I know people who are fantastic manifestors initially, unbelievable. They think of something and then it starts happening like crazy, like the most unbelievable things, and then they start to control and it shuts down. They think, oh, now it's happening, now I need to step in. It's just not how energy works. When we try to control life, when we try to control energy, it shuts down. It stops, it freezes. So plan as a starting point just to get going. You need to get off the couch and start doing somehow. You'll very quickly realize what the reality of it is.